In New York City, and I do the zombies.
Okay. And so I want to ask you. So so it's in addition to creating these fantastic paintings,
Yeah.
you're involved with Marvel and DC, right?
Right,
So
correct,
can you talk a little bit about your involvement and what is it that you do with them?
Yeah, I'm a freelancer, so I work for everybody. For the last 10 years, I've been working primarily with Marvel.
Hi, thanks for joining us for Two Guys in a Comic Book. I'm your host, Mike Pooh, and I'm here joined by Mike Mason,
How you
aka Big Mike.
All right.
How's it going, Big Mike?
Yeah, man. Doing good. How are you?
Good. I'm doing well. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself, and what's your involvement in the comic book slash anime slash cosplay arena?
Okay, so I've been reading comics since I was 7 years old. My uncle gave me a box of old comics, and I instantly fell in love. I was like, wow, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. And it was a bunch of like Spider-Man comics. It was some X-Men stuff in there, mostly Marvel. And I was already familiar with like watching the old Batman show, and the old cheesy one with Adam West. So it was just kind of like a natural progression. So I've always read comics, never stopped. I got into cosplay around 2005. First cosplay was Blade.
Good choice.
Yeah. That movie really did a lot, for me back then. I don't know. I just progressed. I have so many cosplays at this point, but it's been an interesting journey.
Yeah.
In comics, it's kind of like my passion.
Okay. Yeah. And I noticed on your Instagram you have almost 3,000 posts.
Yeah.
I have almost 100. But I noticed, specifically, out of that almost 3,000 posts, a lot of it is Black Panther.
Yeah.
So I would say that you're a Black Panther fan.
I am.
Yeah.
I am a Black Panther fan.
Let's see. Oh, you wear a Black Panther T-shirt.
Yeah,
oh, okay, all right. So let me ask you, what is it with Black Panther that you connect with so much? I mean, why not Superman or Green Lantern or why not any of those other guys? Why Black Panther?
Well, for me, with Black Panther, it's kind of like something to strive towards. You know how you mentioned Superman.
Yeah.
So Superman is that person to strive to be, but you can't really get there. You know what I mean? Like the guy can fly,
Right.
he can lift trucks. You're not going to get there. But Black Panther's kind of the person that gives, speaking for myself and other people of color, it gives us something to strive for. I mean, it's a great story. He's a king. He's very noble. He's just a very righteous and justice person, and that's what he wants.
Right.
And he rules very fairly.
Okay.
And he also kicks butt when he has to. So
Yeah, I think that's like when I was a kid, and I think maybe I was 7 or 8. So we asked around. I asked my friends in class which X-Men mutant you wanted to be, and across the board, we all wanted to be Wolverine because he was the kick butt type of mutant, but also he was human, so you didn't have to sacrifice too much, and still you kind of had you had the best of both worlds.
Right.
So
honestly, that was one of my answers back then as well. Wolverine, oh my God, Wolverine. When I was a kid, when the X-Men show came on, I don't know if you remember that one, the old Fox.
The 90s, right?
Yes, the 90s X-Men show.
That's the best one.
I still am, huge Wolverine fan for a very long time. Because I remember for a time, my mom wasn't very well off. So I could pick one comic book to read a month. And for at least 5 years straight, that one comic book was Wolverine comics.
Okay.
Yep, for about 5 years straight.
So I'm sure you've seen the Black Panther movie, right?
maybe 20 times.
Okay, maybe 20. That's it.
That's
Okay.
it.
So I gotta ask you, what did you think about the movie? I mean, compared to the cartoon, compared to the comic books. I mean, what did you like? What didn't you like?
I think Ryan Coogler, who's the director, did a great job. I was very impressed with what they did, how they built the world of Wakanda.
Yeah.
I mean, it was magical. It was a great experience. Now, let's see. What would I change? Nothing was bad in my opinion.
Okay.
However, the CG at the end, the fight at the end,
Yeah.
it was a little sketchy.
Okay, it was much.
Yeah, you know, I grew up in the 80s and 90s,
Okay.
so I like, you know, live action fights. So I would have liked more live action as opposed to CG.
Okay.
But other than that, it was great.
Okay. What did you so compared to how they portray Black Panther in the comic books, right?
Mhm.
Do you think that was a pretty accurate portrayal? You know, a lot of times different directors, different productions, they want a newer version or a different version.
Right.
So what do you think of this version we have today?
I think they nailed it.
Okay.
I think they nailed it. Because Black Panther in the comics, T'Challa, he's still the same essence that Chadwick Boseman
Okay.
portrays. He's very, like I said, regal. He's very just. He's very kind. He has a big heart.
Yeah.
I think T'Chaka summed it up very well in the movie when he said, "You're a good man with a good heart,
Okay.
and it's hard for a good man to be king."
Right.
And so that line was probably my favorite line in the movie.
Got you right here.
Yep,
Yeah.
it was probably my favorite line in the movie, and it actually sums up T'Challa perfectly.
Okay. So I gotta ask you, Killmonger.
Yes.
Okay. Good guy or bad guy?
Oh man, yeah, it depends on who you ask. So, in my opinion, this version of Killmonger, he had the right idea but the wrong execution.
Okay. Okay.
I would side with T'Challa as well when it's like, hey, I see what you're saying.
yeah.
However, we're not going to wage war against the rest of the world.
Right,
That's
right.
just not what we do.
Yeah. It's tough, you know, and
Yeah.
you know, I felt like I almost felt like what happened at the end of the movie, it was like just a huge misunderstanding.
Yeah,
You know.
exactly.
Um,
I think if they had time to come up with another plan, they could have come to a common ground.
okay. Okay. So we're gonna take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with Big Mike, more Black Panther talk.
So we're back with Osiris. Now, Osiris, have you seen any of the Marvel films? Here, what's your favorite one?
The newest Avengers Endgame.
Endgame. Okay. Was it pretty long?
Yeah, like 3 hours.
Okay, good. So there's one coming out today, right? Called Dark Phoenix.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you gonna watch that?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Can I come with you?
No.
No. Okay. Next time. Okay. So one more question. Do you have a special pose that you want to show everyone, like a very awesome, cool Doctor Strange pose?
Yeah.
All right. That's it. Great. Thank you so much.
Questions for our clients?
Questions for our clients, anything. This is where we kind of do that. So don't be shy. Does anybody have a question? Or go ahead.
I'll come down.
And we're back with Big Mike. So, Big Mike, with Black Panther, I think it's no mystery you're also a big Marvel fan.
Yes.
So the big question that I'm sure everyone is talking about is Marvel versus DC.
Yes, I hear that a lot.
Marvel, from my experiences from people that I've talked to, they're here, and DC's here. But in your opinion, why do you see it that way? Why do you think that is?
Well, I see it that way number-wise in the movies. Comic-wise, actually, for the past few years, DC was outselling Marvel, comic book-wise. But I'm a huge fan of both, to be completely honest with you. But Marvel's formula, Marvel Studios' formula in the movies, it just works so well. They took Kevin Feige, who they trust, and say, hey, you build our universe, we're going to trust you. We're not going to, dip our toes in the water too much. And they let them go with it. And we see how successful they are. I think the problem with Warner Brothers and DC is just the fact that the executives, I think they have their hands in the pot a little too much. They don't have a guy they can actually just trust to build the universe. I think Zack Snyder did a good job with the Watchmen movie.
Okay.
And because if you watch that movie, it's basically frame for frame of that comic.
Right.
I mean, word for word almost as well. So they were like, "Oh my God! Like he made a comic book movie like directly based off the comic book.
Yeah.
Give him a universe." Like, okay, like prove yourself a little bit more first.
Right. You know what I find pretty interesting is that for me growing up, so I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. I didn't watch Iron Man growing up. I did not know the history of Iron Man.
Mm-hmm.
I also didn't connect with Captain America.
Okay.
And a lot of the Avengers, that's shown in the movies the past 10 years. Who I knew growing up was Batman,
Mm-hmm.
Superman, pretty much I think more DC guys.
Right.
For me, on the Marvel side, I'm an X-Men guy. So I can answer a lot of X-Men questions. But
Yeah.
the Avengers, I just didn't connect with it. Maybe because I don't know, I didn't see them on TV as much.
Right.
But I just didn't connect. But for some, I don't know how they did it, and the way the Marvel Studios has put this whole thing together on film. I am a huge Iron Man fan. I'm a big Captain America fan, and it's like, wow, where was I the past